like to call the Dublin City Council meeting to order. If you would, let's please stand, and our Councilman Bill Brown is going to give us our invocation, and we'll say the pledge to the flag.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this glorious day that you created. We thank you for allowing us to live in it. We ask you to be with us as we make decisions that are imposing on this city, that may they be fruitful for our citizens. We also ask you, dear Lord, we're in the time where school is starting back, to watch over those that are traveling on the roads, and may all our children have safe returns, and wish the teachers well as too. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Let's see. Our first item on the agenda is the council meeting minutes of July the 18th.
I move for approval, Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Jones to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 2, the approval of bills over $3,000.
Make a motion to pay the bills, Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Edwards and a second by Mr. Griggs that we pay the bills. Any discussion there? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Approval of, item number 3 is approval of purchases over $3,000.
No purchases, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Item number 4 is a second reading and public hearing of a new panhandling ordinance. Mr. Jones, would you please read that proposed ordinance?
Ordinance number 19-14, ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Dublin, Georgia, adopting a new ordinance to regulate public panhandling, begging, and charitable or political solicitation, to set an effective date and for other lawful purposes.
Okay. We will now close our public hearing or city council meeting and open a public hearing and ask if there's anyone here to speak in favor of this proposed ordinance. If not, we will, yes, ma'am.
I'm Sue Stuckey from.
If you would come up here, Miss Sue, how you doing?
I'm great. How are
Good.
you? Yes, I'm Sue Stuckey with Miller and Company, and we appreciate y'all passing that ordinance. We have been bothered with panhandlers, people coming in asking for money, and we really appreciate that y'all would do this. So we thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else like to speak in favor of this proposed ordinance? If not, is there anyone like to speak in opposition to this proposed ordinance? Okay, hearing none, we will now close the public hearing, turn it over to council for action.
Move for approval of the ordinance, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Edwards that we approve the ordinance. Any discussion? Mr. Daniels, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Jones,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilman Griggs.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, item number 5 is a second reading and public hearing of an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to expand the boundaries of the downtown historic district. Mr. Jones, do you mind reading that proposed ordinance amendment?
Yes, sir. It's ordinance number 19-15, an ordinance by the mayor and city council of Dublin to amend the zoning ordinance of the city to expand the boundaries of the downtown historic district, to provide for a demonstrative exhibit to depict the two historic districts, to provide for an effective date and for other lawful purposes.
Okay, we will now close the city council meeting and open up a public hearing and ask if there's anyone here to speak in favor of this proposed ordinance amendment. If not, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this proposed ordinance amendment? Hearing none, we will now close the public hearing, reopen the city council meeting, and turn it over to council for action.
Move for approval, Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Edwards and a second by Mr. Brown?
Brown.
Mr. Brown, that we approve the amendment. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Daniels, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Griggs,
Yes.
Councilman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Jones,
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Thank you, sir. Item number 6 is a discussion and/or action on an agreement with 2WR of Georgia, Inc. to produce a field investigation report for renovation of City Hall. Mr. Jones?
Okay, in your materials is an agreement with the architectural firm 2WR. They could not be here today, but they'll be here. Should this be approved, they'll be here at the next council meeting, I believe, to go over things with y'all. Our building's 117 years old, needs a lot of work, especially on the exterior. And this contract with them will begin that process. And it was originally in the amount of $66,200, but we made some changes, and right now the contract is in the amount of $59,700.
Okay, you've heard staff's recommendation. Council, what's your pleasure?
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Griggs and a second by Mr. Brown.
Smith.
Oh, Mr. Smith, that we approve the agreement. Any discussion? Hear none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Is your internet slowing your business down? If so, call the City of Dublin for our fiber optic based internet, 478-296-1008.
Dublin Ford Lincoln's favorite part about serving our community is all of the wonderful friendships that we build, and Ty Martinez is one of those friends.
I asked for a truck and I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, when he got the truck, it was exactly what I wanted. And they went, I think this one came from Tennessee, got out of town and brought it to me. Oh, come Dublin Ford, check them out before you check anybody else out.
Others call you customers, we call you friends. That's Dublin Ford Lincoln.
All right, item number 7, discussion and/or action on the contract with Spyglass.
This is a contract with this company called Spyglass. There's an executive summary in your materials that sort of describes their services, but they will go over all our telecommunications and find out if there are any savings there for us. That includes all our long distance voice, data, internet, wireless. And there's really no risk for us. If there's anything that they find that they think they can save money, if we choose to implement that, we pay them a percentage. If we don't, there's no cost to us.
Do they disconnect what, say they find some wires that need to be, that we don't use anymore, do they disconnect that, or we have to get disconnected?
We would do it. We would give the order to whatever company it is to disconnect.
They just finding what it is, and then we gotta do away with it.
Yes, sir.
We implement.
All right.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the contract?
Oh, you're here. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Might not want to talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got it closed.
No, but in regards to your question, we implement the recommendations for you.
Okay.
So we would make the changes. You would tell us to go make those and we would make them for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there a fee associated with you disconnecting it? Or,
So that goes into the fees if you wanted to implement them.
okay,
So the fees are only applied for recommendations that you choose to implement.
I see.
So this is pretty much for us to go and take a look for you, see if there is any savings for you, and then we would come back to you. And then from there, you would make the decision.
Okay. All right.
And
good.
I'm sorry, this is Miss Rachel Campalietti,
Campoletti,
is representative from Spyglass. So
Good.
I
Thank
apologize, I didn't see you.
I know it's okay.
That's not your typical Lawrence County name.
She moved from Cleveland down
Yes,
here
from
right
Ohio.
in May when it was 100 degrees. So she got ready to go back.
You talk faster than I can hear.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Not, do I hear a motion to approve the contract?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Griggs that we approve the contract. Any discussion? Hear none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 8 is a discussion and/or action on a resolution authorizing the finance director, city clerk, to enter into a financing agreement for various equipment. Mr. Daniels, you want to go over that one with us?
This is a lease agreement between the city of Dublin and GMA. This is for the purchase of various equipment. The city has been quoted an interest rate of 2.67%. On an amount of $1,361,902. And this will actually help us go ahead and address the capital needs of the city, have quarterly payments that, as we anticipate future SPLOST dollars to come in, we're able to move ahead and promote better cash flow for the city with financing.
Yes. Any questions from council? Not, do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Who was the first?
Brown.
Motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Jones that we approve the resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, item number 9 is a first reading of an ordinance to amend the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019. Mr. Jones, you want to read that?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 19-16, an ordinance by the mayor and council of the city of Dublin to amend the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019 to provide for an effective date and for other purposes.
Second reading and public hearing on this proposed ordinance amendment will be at our August the 15th meeting. Also, before we get into citizens' comments, Mr. Daniels, if you would, for the minutes, we did receive a report from the city manager's office on permit fees for building in the city of Dublin.
We could just incorporate that report into the minutes, please.
Yes. You got a copy of it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And this brings us to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens that'd like to address council? How you doing?
How you doing? How y'all
Good.
doing?
Good.
My name is James Lindsay, and I was originally on this Cross the Creek Cemetery Committee. And I'm down there about 2 or 3 times a week, and I would like to request a couple of trash cans. I mean, they're keeping it clean, looking nice, but it's got a lot of wild animals down there, and people got to leave trash. So I would like to see a couple of trash cans down there inside the brackets or something, if council will see fit.
Okay.
Could I ask Mr. Lindsay, just where you think would be the best place for them?
I guess right this side of the benches.
Okay.
Because people go down there and have their lunch and they just throw it down, you know. Thank you.
And you are right. I did a cemetery tour this past Sunday morning before church, and across the creek, and all our cemeteries are looking really good. They're doing a good job with that.
Do we need to put a sign that says, don't litter?
Ought not to have to.
I know we ought not to have to, but it seems like we do have to.
Any other citizens that'd like to address council? If not, we'll go to council comments, and we'll start with Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just thank everybody for being here. I want to, again, the school year is starting, so let's all be safe on the roads, and so everybody have a great year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griggs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just like to thank everybody for coming. James, thanks for bringing attention to the trash issue. And Sue, thank you for your comments. And everybody have a great week.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Edwards.
All right, thank everyone for coming, and I'd like to thank the police department for providing security, and thank all the city employees for everything they do day in and day out on there. And I also served on the same committee for the Cross the Creek, and there was a lot of effort went there, so we do need to do all we can to make sure we keep that preserved the best way we can, because there was a lot of volunteer hours put in to make that happen. So I do appreciate you coming and bringing it to our attention on there. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Well, it's kind of all been said. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to remind everyone on August the 15th at our city council meeting, we'll be at the Riverview Golf Course in the Emory Thomas, starting at 5:30 for our first chat and chew. Come on out and let's get to see our city council come to Ward 1 and also have a little snack there. And also, as been mentioned, school has started back. Let's be safe out there and remember the school buses and when they put the stop sign out to stop. You know, do mean kids are getting ready to get off the bus or on the bus. So let's stop and let's be safe and don't run the stop sign. We had someone this morning ran the stop sign, so we got you too, Chief. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Powell?
I'd just like to remind everybody the panhandling ordinance will take effect on August the 6th at noon, and encourage all of our business people who operate businesses in town to come and get a copy of the ordinance. It's a long ordinance, and to remind citizens in general that that ordinance is only as effective as the people who report when these things happen. So please be sure that if somebody comes to you or accosts you wherever you are in town, it doesn't just apply downtown, it's a citywide ordinance, to please call 911 when those incidents occur, even if you think it's minor, so the police department can be aware of what's happened.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Daniel? Mr. Jones?
None except, can we make that, put that on our website so it's available?
Sure.
Okay. So the panhandle ordinance should be on our website within a day or two. All right. No other comments.
Okay. No further business. Stand adjourned.